Hi, my name's Ingemar Hunnings, and this video is to help you with the reporting within Leap. So I'm the lead consultant at Hunnings Consultancy. We do a lot of work around the implementation of Leap to law firms and also helping them subsequently as well. So I'm going to take my video off and share my screen and take you into Leap. And to get to the reporting, you hit the menu and reports. That'll open up on your browser, and your reports are divided into these sections here, these 4 sections. So the reports obviously run from the data that you put in. So it's the old adage, rubbish in, rubbish out. So what I'll do is I'll start off by looking at the case management reports, and then we'll move on to the financial ones and what else Leap has to give you. So the case management side, you'll see there's a specific suite of reports to help. And I believe it pulls in not just domestic, but also commercial property work as well. And you see that the use of the critical dates and the statuses is really important for feeding these reports with whether they're ready for completion or exchange or have been exchanged, those sorts of things. You've got matters by last activity, a really useful report. Actually, before I go further, I should say that as I go over these reports, you see the description of what's in there in gray, okay, in that section 1. Matters by last activity is a good report to run if you want to pick which files to review, where the files have gone to sleep, that sort of thing. So it comes up with last activity the current day, but you may want to knock that back a couple of weeks to see, what the appropriate period or lapse in time actually is. Matter status. So all of these reports have different filters in here. So you pick what's appropriate, but you can never have a nil value in there. So I'm going to pick all of these in here. Matter type, I'm just going to pick all of them, but you pick what you need. If you want to include the people who've left, pick that. Do we want to look at the people who are responsible, i.e. the supervisors, the team leaders, the partners, or the person acting the fee earner? And then you pick the appropriate star. Reporting group, just pick whatever you got in there. You can, in these reports, usually group the data in different ways. I'm not going to bother here, but that can help you as well. View, and it will run the report and show it on the screen. We'll just give that a moment to do that. There we go. And so it shows on screen and such like. Now, this report has some filters at the top. Some of them do, some of them don't. So you can reorder according to that data up and down. And this report for matters by last activity will show you the last time that anyone put or a time or fee entry or modified it. The last date that anyone put anything onto the correspondence or modified it. The last date that anyone put any data or information onto a matter or modified it. So really, really granular. I'll show you this a little bit later, but the reports can be exported out into various formats, and that would just export for you to be able to grab that and share them out. Okay, matter list is matter list. Matters opened a really good report. So it shows you what matters were opened up over a period of time. So let's say I don't open up many matters, so I'm going to take it right back this year to something like that, to whatever it is. You can date range it there. Again, we can't have nil values, include people who left, etc., etc. All right. So this will show you what matters were opened up over that period of time, which is great. But also it shows you what fee estimates have been entered. So you can see not only which matters have been opened up, but what potential fee harvest has been put into the pipeline. And this is really helpful for the calculation of your forecasting, your cash forecasting. So I'm a great fan of putting in the fee estimates because it then gives you an idea of what it is that you're potentially going to be able to bill. So really useful report. Now, there are 2 reports for tracking where a work has come from. There's this one, and there's one on the management side of things, work obtained chart. There is a separate video which I've recorded, which is just on being able to track your work sources and search. I'm not going to go over where that data's come from. That's in the separate video. So go and look at that in the YouTube channel. But if we go to the management side work obtained chart, that will draw the data in so you can look at the categories of where the work has come in. It's a bar chart. Okay. So we'll just pick the matter types. I won't bother to expand that. And you'll see that it gives us a bar chart as to where the work came from with the actual matters down there, which is fine. But if we go back to the matters and clients, the matters work obtained by referrer, I like the report so much that you get from this that I would record all work sources, whether or not they're a referrer, and regard this as work obtained by work source. Now, if I click on this and just run the date back a little bit, okay, so I'm not interested in tax, so I'll have none of that, but I'll have it expanded just so you can see how good a report this is. And so you can see the category, who's brought the work within that category, which jobs, what fees or time has been recorded, what fees or time has been invoiced, and what fees or time you've said that you've been paid. So you can see that breakdown right through here, with totals at the bottom. Really, really useful, I think, for seeing where your cash is coming from. Again, exportable. Cost agreement received and outstanding. If you have said that you do require the retainer documentation to be signed, this will allow you to police it. There's an archive matters report, there's a matter task report, and appointments report. Critical dates is really, really helpful. So you've already got the report effectively for conveyancing, but for everyone else, this really helps you. If you are using the critical dates and the status changes, then this machinery helps you look forward in time against the critical dates. So I'm going to run this report looking forward in time. We'll say the end of July, critical date. Only those critical dates that have data against them will show, and I'll use limitation date. Here is an example. I'm a litigator, so we live or die by limitation dates. Which matters, status is probably not archived, and I probably would take out, if I have anything in there, claims served, because once it's served, it's not so much of a concern. There we go. I can group it. I'm not going to bother. What's view? So this quickly, I can look forward in time against those critical dates. Okay. Now I know you can look at someone's calendar, but their calendar may have lots of other stuff in it. And looking across all the different people could be a real pain. So this is a really good report to get that data really quickly. That was critical dates. Client overview, a useful report where you may be doing quite a lot of work for a few clients, or you've got repeat work for them. So all of these date ranges, by the way, will only run for a maximum of 12 months. So you may have to move them back and forth to cover different periods. I'm just going to run this back a bit so that I can get some data in here. Yeah, I will expand this view. And what you see here is clients for whom we have jobs. And not only can you see the fee estimate and the disbursement estimate, the status, the fees entered, ex-VAT, what's been billed, ex-VAT, and what we've been paid. So you can do that. You can get the client overview. I think particularly useful where you have more than one job for some clients, commercial work, for example. Over here, finally, on here, compliance reporting. Really, really important. You sit in the compliance screen within Leap and it will populate the headlines into here. So this is in here because back in 2016, I wrote Leap a paper saying how important this was. It's designed to help the compliance officers. So if we run this back a bit, so you won't see any great data from me because I'm just using the system to train on, not to actually put real data in. But you can see the filters in here. Again, can't have a nil value in here. So let's pick this. Now this report downloads straight off. Okay. So downloaded that, and that should be in the downloads now. There we go. I can open that up and you'll see the compliance report runs and is pulling through details about the matters, but is also then pulling through whether the AML checks are being done, if so when, source of funds checks, conflict checks being done, identity checks, risk status, I didn't put them in there. So whether the client's objectives have been achieved, whether they're going to complain or make a claim, undertakings given and discharged. Taking this right across here, you can see risk assessments being completed and review dates and such like. So it gives an overview for the compliance officers who can then start to see whether people recording compliance, which hopefully they're doing. And the SRA is more and more active in policing the compliance that should be done. So this is there to help you. There we go, compliance report. I'm not going to go through the management ones in great detail. There's a lot of stuff to play with once you've got your leap in and you've got data in for a period of time. Invoice variance report, a nice one. Billing realization summary. This is a lovely report. Matters by matter type chart. So this is designed to help you when you come to your PII renewal. And so let's roll it back a little bit. It creates you a pretty pie chart so you can see the split out of the matter types. So that helps you with perhaps calculating areas of work for matters opened over that period of time through your PII renewal you've got a breakdown of them here. So that one there, matters by matter type chart. So you've got various overviews of fee earners and the practice. Conveyancer report, very helpful to people who have CQS, perhaps from Excel, certainly PII renewal, conveyance report. So this will pull through data from your conveyancing and commercial property matters so that you don't have to go and look through every matter. If the data is being put into Leap, I will group by matter type. I'm going to pick all the matter statuses to try and get as much data in as I can. Now, I don't in a lot of this. I train people, but you can see here that this is giving this information. It gives you the split out between them. Percentage fees billed, matters opened, highest billed fee, average billed fee, highest property value, average property value, highest loan. And then looking at here, the referrers, how many matters from referrers, how many matters opened by lenders. So the sort of stuff that typically they're asking for you to gather through your CQS review or your PII review. Going on to the financial screens, office account, you had your classic reports, age debtors report, age disbursements, age WIT. Those three are summarized into the matters financial summary with aging. So that's a good summary report to run. You have a report for your anticipated payments, so you can see when they're going to hit cash flow. Invoices report I will run. So this is obviously one of the major reports you're going to be running. And if nothing else, even if you're not using the export to zero, you're going to be possibly running this and sending it through to your accountants. So if we run this back just a little bit to get a few invoices in here, you can run it for draft invoices. Not quite sure why you'd be doing draft invoices unless you've restricted staff so that they can only do draft ones and you want to see which ones you need to approve. I'm just going to run it for final real invoices. So again, you've got the ability to group. I'm not going to, but here we go. View. And so it brings through then the invoices that have been done over this period. You have sorting here. So I'll sort this now by date, and I'll put it so we have the most recent one at the top. And you can see you've got the invoice number, the date of the invoice, the matter number. Forgive me, I have names because I train on this system, but you'll have numbers normally. The client's surname, whether an invoice has been deleted or reversed. I've left in for the details of the person responsible. You would probably pick the person acting, but there we go. So it's by team, their initials, fees ex VAT, the VAT on the fees, disbursements ex VAT, the VAT on the disbursements, whether an invoice has been adjusted, as in you've had some written off. Okay, so we've got a few in there. So there's been some write-off on that one. There was a total write-off on that one. The invoice total, taking all of that into account, any payments received against the invoice, and then the balance due. So really, really useful report, and you have totals at the bottom here. Now, these reports, as I said, can be exported into Excel, and there is a separate video that I've done on how to do that. Go and see that in the playlist of videos on that. And if you're doing legal aid work, that's even more helpful for you because you can then perhaps look at the data that you need to show to the contract manager as to how much time you spent doing legal aid work. It is about being able to export the data into Excel and then manipulate it. Okay, so that's up to you if you want to do that. Now then, I'm going to go to another report which is really useful, matter balances. Matter balances will show you the balances on the matters in both client account and office account. So I'll show you that in just a moment, but you can also run this report on archived matters. which is really helpful because almost at the click of a button, you can see if you have managed to archive matters with balances on, which you shouldn't, of course. So you can pick and then run that through there. Okay. I won't run that because there's nothing in mind to show. But I do find this in firms sometimes. So it's a quick way for management to find out what's going on and get people to deal with those. Let's run it for live matters. So again, you can't have a nil value in any of the filters. View, just so you can see what it looks like. So there we go, matter balances. So if I just scroll down ever so slightly, we've got this, for example, this asylum one here, which is showing we've got this in client account. We've got this already invoiced. We've got some further WIP that we're incurring and further disbursement. So we can see all of this in here. So could I do a client to office transfer across to clear down some of that debt? Potentially. So it's quite a useful report to have a look at for that. And it's got some sorting at the top here. So that was the matter balances report. Nothing else I'm going to particularly pull out here other than this firm exposure by client. So this is useful because the SRA doesn't want you to be overexposed. There's a risk to the firm. Then if one client pulls out if you're overexposed to them. So this is a useful report to just check how exposed to that risk you are. Client funds. So obviously, here you have the ability to run your end of month reports, but you can run those reports like the payments and the receipts cash book outside of the end of month process. So there we go. This is a really useful report. Dormant matters with client account balances. So this is what you would run to see if you have any residual balances in client account. Okay. So if I run that, you'll see that it defaults to 3 months inactivity in the client funds ledgers on the matters. But you can change that. You can run this if you have more than one bank account. You need to run this for each bank account. So just running that, you can see it brings the data through. Hopefully yours won't look anything like this, but you can sort by date. You can find the largest. You can also find the oldest, and you shouldn't have anywhere near that figure coming up for residual balances. Anything you do hold in client account, very late at the time, of course, there should be permission from the client with a note on the file. But you really don't want to hold much in there at all for any particular length of time unless you've got a good reason. You should, of course, have none of those. This is a useful report here. Potential client account to office transfers. So you could see, right, I've got the invoice, I've got the money. I haven't done the transfer yet. Why not? So trial balances you can run there. One other one from office. Yes, combined matter ledger with balances. So sometimes I'm asked by first, is there a way to get a report that shows both the client and the office together? So if I run this, if we search for matters, so I could here view or download the ledger on this matter so you can see the office on that side and the client on that side. So that was combined matter ledger with balances. Now only a few, but some of these reports can be scheduled to run through the cog here. There is a separate video that I've run on this, so go and have a look at it in the playlist on our YouTube. So scheduling reports. There's a few, not many. I wish Leap would put more in there. Going back into Leap, on accounting, there's a lovely report here, time and fees. Now, time and fees, I'm not sure if it's what Leap designed it for, but when I looked at this as an ex-partner, ex-department head, I thought, oh, this could be useful because I can get a quick look-see where we're doing through the month. Now, your firm could be one that builds work in progress. And so you'll have a target for how much work in progress you're putting on each month. So you can say, right, let's have a look at this. So let's do for the months and let's go back to here. So for the month of December, let's search. Not a lot of WIP so far. Are we on target or are we not? So perhaps you could have a look each week at the end of the week to see how you're doing. So you've got a heads up. And if there's a problem, you can then start to analyze which staff members perhaps are causing that problem. So that's if it's WIP. But you could say, no, we're actually a fixed fee firm. So it's just looking at the billing. So change that. And then you can see what we build, not a lot, but it's the same way of getting a quick look at that without having to go into the reporting I had taken you through before. If you are a legal aid firm, this is really, really important. and can really be helpful to you for getting the data out of what work you've done, because the contract auditor will be asking you how much work have you done that's legal aid funded, and you have to do a certain amount to retain your legal aid contract or franchise. So I've done a separate video on that, but you would be using this, but you would then be going to Billable All to get that data, but go and watch the other video on that. So when you're actually in your matter, no, actually, before I do that, let me just say that there are, this is a legal aid point, if I go to other, yes, there's a separate suite of reports. The reports we'll be looking at so far is across everything, however they are funded. But this will take you to a suite of reports which are specific to do with those which are funded by legal aid. It filters them out, and so you can run those reports. There's the matter list, invoice, aged wit, and such like duty, solicitor scheme, and the submission. So that is the way of running the report for just the legal aid matters. Menu, other legal aid reports. If we go into matters in LEAP, let's just pick something at random in here. So I'm just going to run through the reports in here in a matter. The most obvious way of getting a report on the finances on the matter is the tab across the top here, financial summary, which will show you what's owed by your client with aging, what you haven't yet billed, as in WIP, work in progress, and thingies in here as well, summary of the client account. Your time and fees ledger is a report effectively of itself, which is a filtered view, so you can look at the different statuses of the entries, what I billed, what I set as not billable. Your office account ledger is a report in itself, but you can go up to the print button up here and produce a summary of this. You can produce a combined matter ledger, which will show you the entries both in office and client through here, which can be emailed. These could be emailed over to the client or shared via your connection, such like. If we go to the client funds, very, very similar. You've got print button up here, okay, which can produce that report of the ledger, or you can email it from there. On the financial summary, time and fees, and office accounting, next to invoice, you have the pre-billing guide. So this gives you a report summarizing the finances before that you might look at before you invoice. Okay. So for me, it's a classic litigation pre-billing guide. So going back into LEAP in here, one other thing to mention on the reporting side is not really a report, but I suppose it is. If you're working in the details and correspondence area, you may want to have a quick look over the finances and such like of the matter, but you don't want to go off screen. You could go to the raisins up here and hit archive management, not to archive, but it gives you a summary of the matter, which you might look at when you archive, but it could be useful to see just very quickly anyway, whilst you're doing stuff. So there we go. You've got a summary of the finances and also incomplete tasks and things like that. So quite a useful report. I'm going to close because clearly I'm not archiving at that point. One final point, which will be useful, particularly for people working in accounts departments using LEAP. If you go to the card for a client and you hit the print button, it doesn't produce you the card, a copy of the card. It gives you a statement of account. Now, this relies upon you not creating duplicate cards, but you see how quickly I've now got a statement of account for this particular client or what we've invoiced or what is due, i.e. they haven't yet paid, across all of their matters with aging of the debt. And as usual, that can be printed or downloaded or saved into the matter or print to LEAP. Now, there's a separate video in our YouTube channel on how print to LEAP works. Nice little feature within LEAP. But there you go. You can get these reports very easily out of there. So that was on the print button here, print statement of accounts, really, really useful. But it doesn't work if you've gone and created loads of duplicate cards, which of course you shouldn't do. And I will be doing another video on cards, and that's a separate thematic video that will come up in due course. Okay, so I hope that's of help. Lots of reporting you get through LEAP. Just going up to the top of here to say, this is us, Hunnings Consultancy. We help law firms and businesses in the legal services sector with running their businesses. And so we help with various case management systems as well as legally actions that proclaim. We do a lot of compliance support for law firms, financial, SRA accounts rules, financial health checks, and such like, but they're all of the other compliance stuff that law firms need. And you can see we're putting up blogs informing people of stuff when they find it, and you can search for that there. So there's also details on how to contact us and such like. So give us a shout if there's anything we can help with. We do a lot of training on legal assistance for firms even after they have been implemented as well. So I hope that's of help to you and wish you all the best.